Hey everyone, welcome back to the Week 5 discussion and reaction stream here. Again, gonna try and keep this going week by week. It's Tuesday, time to talk some NFL. Week's just finished up. It's pretty good games this weekend, guys. Pretty good games this week. I'm telling you. 2 overtime thrillers. 8 more 1-score games. I had to count, yeah. I mean, there's a lot to be happy about with this one. Felt like mostly every game was going down to the wire. Just only a handful of games that really felt like didn't bring much to the table. There were a lot of good games this week. And I think there's no better way to start than with Thursday night game. Raise your hand. Who thought that this game was going to be an absolute classic? I totally did. I did. This thing was phenomenal. I totally thought this was going to be a really good game. I saw this on schedule. Even after like week 2, week 3, I saw this on schedule, and I'm just like, great pick. Great pick. And it proved to be so, because that was awesome. Crazy finish. Couple lead changes. 1 score pretty much the entire way through. Still with points on the board, too, on the as well. Get a walk-off touchdown. This game had everything. This was a good watch. And it's something that Amazon Prime needed badly with the game that they were broadcasting, because a lot of them, just over the past 3 years, have just been really mediocre. Maybe 1 or 2 good endings. But for the most part, pretty mediocre, subpar games that they've got. I don't know. This was just the second time a game went to overtime since Prime took over the streaming rights for Thursday Night Football, and said overtime game was that 12-9 overtime game between the Colts and the Broncos in 2022 that everyone thought was garbage, and rightfully so. That game was terrible. But it's like some of these games, they might be close, but it's not like they're classics. But this was arguably Amazon Prime's first real classic they broadcasted. This was a great game. I really enjoyed it. And, it's something that they desperately needed. They needed this game badly to work out, because they haven't had anything like this. So good finishes always prevail, and it helps when you're in an isolated slot, and the entire game's entertaining as well. Really good stuff here on Thursday night. If you didn't catch it, you can go back and watch me do some live reaction / play-by-play for it all right here on the channel. I did only the first half. I want to test things out and everything. So we'll see what happens. Just want to test it out there. But you can go see that if you're interested. Moving on to Sunday with another isolated game. Jets-Vikings in London. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 picks. That's the bottom line here. Aaron Rodgers threw 3 interceptions in a game that his team needed to win. And the Vikings are now 5-0. Raise your hand who thought that was going to happen this year. It's okay, you can put them down. No one thought that was going to happen this year. No one thought it. No one in their right mind were going to pick the Vikings to go 5-0. Hell, you go ahead, send this over to Freezing Cold Takes. Go back to my NFC North Division preview video. I literally predicted the Vikings to go 0-5 before their bye week, and then win at home against Detroit off the bye. It's unreal. I literally had them going 0-5 to start the season. I thought the schedule was pretty tough. You get the Niners and the Texans and the Packers and the Jets. And I thought that there was going to be a bit of a fluky loss to the Giants there. I had a feeling. For some reason. It felt like a bit of a trap game. Sam Darnold's first start. All that stuff. Felt like a trap game. Obviously not. They've figured it out. And they figured it out quick. Because they're 5-0. Sam Darnold looks like maybe the best quarterback in the league. Now, granted, he didn't have a great game in this one. But he looks like the most competent, consistent QB in the league right now. At least in the NFC. I mean, who knows? But he looks really competent. I don't know about best, but, you know. Again, trying to just give Sam Darnold his flowers. Beats the team that he was drafted to and was thoroughly ruined by. And, wow. The Sam Darnold-led Minnesota Vikings are 5-0. It's pretty crazy. They get the bye week. Which, who knows? Who knows if it's a good thing or a bad thing? It could be a very bad thing. It could stop their entire momentum. They go walk into U.S. Bank Stadium against Detroit and just lay an egg. Who knows? Anyways, the Jets now get a primetime matchup against the Bills next week. Oh boy. If the Jets fall to 2-4, that's just... oh boy. Man, that's going to be brutal. Well, let's see. Let's stay in the AFC East. We're going to go ahead and get this one out of the way. The Dolphins and Patriots was an absolutely terrible game to watch. I don't think anyone who wasn't a fan of the Dolphins or the Patriots was watching this game. Literally no one who cared about this. Literally no one who did not care about either of these two teams were watching this football game. Both teams knew it was going to be a low-scoring game, and it was exactly that. Just sloppy football, bad football. Though it did have a pretty good ending, I'm not going to lie. It did have a kind of a interesting ending. Dolphins score late touchdown, Patriots maybe get down there again. Threaten to maybe score some points in the end zone to be like, whoa, we got too much scoring going on here. Outside of that, this game was terrible. It was terrible. I'm just not going to sugarcoat it. It was bad. It was a bad football game. The fact that the Miami Dolphins are 2-3 right now is a miracle. Because their offense looks horrendous without Tua Tagovailoa. Like, I can't even begin to tell you. Like, 2 touchdowns in 3 games, both of them coming in the fourth quarter. I mean, only one of them meant anything, too. Like, it's unreal how terrible this offense has become without Tua Tagovailoa. Wow, they have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, and Devon Achane that they can throw to. Or hand the ball off to. Like, there's no way. Patriots are incredibly embarrassing. This is exactly what we all thought they were going to look like this year. They're going to lose some really bad football games. And now there's some talks about Drake May getting the start this week against the Houston Texans. Oh, great. Jacoby Brissett is dying enough behind that O-line. Now you got to go and throw your rookie quarterback in a scenario where you're going up against Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. R.I.P. Drake May. R.I.P. if he gets the start. That is bad. That is bad. Oh, boy. Bad football game. Moving to Buffalo, Houston. What was a pretty, not actually bad football game, but a bit of a blowout. Turned into a pretty interesting ending. Houston ran away with it. They were running away with it for sure. And then, like C.J. Stroud's bomb to Nico Collins was beautiful, but unfortunately he was taken out of the game. And it seemed to be a problem. Because they went at 14-3. They scored just 9 points after that. 3 field goals. So, their offense struggled a little bit in that second half. They allowed the Bills to come back in the game. Nice catch and run from Keon Coleman, by the way, for a touchdown. That was really nice for the rookie receiver. Really liked what I saw there on that play. And the Bills fought back. Even got it up, and I mean, the way that they tied the game was because they picked off C.J. Stroud late in the game, in the fourth quarter. I mean, they hung around, and the Texans, they kept him in it. And that was the big problem that I know when I'm gonna shrink this window a little bit. I know that was the big problem when the Bears played the Texans. It was kind of like, well, the only bad thing about this game for Houston right now is that even though they're thoroughly crushing them, they're keeping them in the game. And, that's what happens now. You're not playing a team that, is starting a rookie quarterback in his second ever start, and offensive line can't protect, and you got all this stuff. Now you're going up against a team that's like semi-competent at playing football, and they scored 17 unanswered points, I believe. I think it was 20-3 actually. If not, it was 17-3, and then there was another field goal by Houston. But Buffalo, they try their best to stay in it, and then you get to the end of the game. Why are you running 3 pass plays? Like, just play for overtime. Don't even think about giving the ball back to Houston. This game is going to be used as a lesson for everyone else on what not to do in these types of critical situations. Under a minute to go, you just got the ball back, you're deep in your own zone. It's okay to pass every now and then, but make sure you keep the clock running. And if Houston has timeouts, make them use the timeouts. Because they not only got the ball back, but they still had a timeout that they could use, which after Robert Woods grabbed the punt and just fell forward for a nice 11, 12-yard gain. Quick dump off from Stroud to Agumbawale. Boom, down, 2 seconds. Fairbairn hits a 59-yarder to end the game. Kickers are good. The kickers are good in the league now. They're really good. Ka'imi Fairbairn's been money this season. So many kickers have been money this season from 50 plus. I mean, the league is just having this renaissance of 50 plus yard field goals being kicked left and right. It's no longer like a massive challenge. It feels like these kickers are able to hit these 50 yarders no problem. Pretty interesting stuff. Really cool stuff. And, the Bills paid for it. And so they dropped to 3-2. And they get the Jets in what now is looking to be a much, much more important game than initially thought so. Because, again, if the Bills lose that game, both them and the Jets are now 3-3. And now we got to start talking about the Bills, potentially collapsing here. I mean, yeah, the Jets, after the Bills and Jets meet, the Jets will go to Pittsburgh, and the Bills will be at home against Tennessee, so they kind of get the get-right game there. But, they cannot fall to 3-3 after the great start that they had. They did lose to 2 good football teams in Baltimore and Houston, both games on the road, and they have another game on the road against the Jets coming up here. So it is a tough stretch. But, of course, still not entirely inexcusable. But, tough loss for Buffalo there. Big win for Houston. They're 4-1. They're looking good. Keeping with the AFC South, let's go to Duval, where an absolute guarantee in the league every single season. Jacksonville winning at home against Indianapolis. It happens every year. Now I want to look. I didn't look at this before the stream. I want to know when the last time Indianapolis won on the road against Jacksonville. Hang on. 2014. 2014. That was the last time. Unless 2000, they won in 2015. Nope. Lost there. Yeah. It's 2014. 2014 was the last time the Indianapolis Colts went on the road and beat Jacksonville. It's been a decade. I mean, it's unreal. It's unreal. Jacksonville finds a way to win, no matter how bad they are, and no matter how good Indianapolis can be. Hang on. My camera is, hang on a second, guys. All right, there we go. Oh, there it goes again. All right. There we go. Come on, stay put. All right, good. Oh, my goodness. Are you serious? All right, my camera's just not wanting to cooperate right now. That's brutal. All right. Anyways, as I was saying, Jacksonville wins against Indianapolis at home again. Because it happens every year. I knew it. Jacksonville is the only team without a win. They're 0-4. Even though Indianapolis has won 2 in a row. Oh my goodness. Even though Indianapolis has won 2 games in a row, it does not matter. The Jacksonville Jaguars will win at home against Indianapolis. It happens every year, and it will continue to happen. Unless the Colts find a way to do something. Because, I mean, they made it close. They made it close. That's exactly what they did. Oh my goodness. Dude, my camera is just not cooperating. I am sorry, guys. Hopefully we're going to be fine. Good Lord. Anyways, Joe Flacco looked elite again. They probably should continue to start him, even if Anthony Richardson comes back from concussion protocol and everything. They really should keep Flacco in until the defenses figure out, Flacco and everything. Like, the guy is just somehow still slinging it at 39. He's looking like the best old quarterback in the league right now. Come on, man. Come on. This is ridiculous. This is getting ridiculous. I gotta admit, this is getting kind of ridiculous. All right. Yeah. Joe Flacco looked really good. Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good, I will admit. Trevor Lawrence had a good game. Jacksonville needed this win badly. Really badly. Really badly. Because their next opponent is on a roll. Speaking of their next opponent, let's talk about the Bears game. I'm wearing a Hawks shirt. There's a Hawks decal behind me. I have, my channel name is Chicago Sports Fan Reactions. I'm talking about the Bears. Caleb Williams looked good. 2 touchdown passes, 30-plus yards. The team looked really balanced, really, really efficient with everything. I thought it was a nigh-perfect game. They struggled in the first quarter a little bit, let up the touchdown to Carolina early, but outscored them 36-3 for the rest of the game. I mean, they just absolutely crushed them. This game wasn't even close. I mean, it was insane. I mean, just a great game. Carolina, it looks exactly like they did the first 2 weeks of the year now again. Just another total blowout. And, I mean, I don't know, man. It's a big win for Chicago because now it looks like Caleb Williams finally understands things. Yes, it was against the Carolina Panthers. But again, you need to beat the bad teams. That's why I'll always say it, you need to beat the bad teams. Especially if we're talking about, guys coming into the league and everything. If you can't beat bad teams and you're letting them stay in games and you're still winning, but you're letting them stay in, he didn't let this game even get close. He did his job offensively. They scored 28 points in the first half. I mean, 4 touchdowns too. They hadn't even scored 3 in a game. I think they scored 3 last week against the Rams, but it's if that. It's just a really impressive effort from the entire offensive staff. It's exactly the game that the offense needed to have against the team they needed to have it against. Now they go to London to play Jacksonville. They're already out there, by the way. They flew out on Monday, which is kind of interesting. But, no, I mean, they look good. Carolina looks incredibly bad. Pedestrian. Flat out terrible. And they're going to be at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And, So, yeah. Big win for Chicago. Caleb Williams threw for 300 yards. By the way, 2 300-yard games as a rookie. First time any Bears quarterback has ever done that, which is just ridiculous. I mean, and Caleb Williams already passing for 1,000 yards in the season. He's already halfway, pretty much virtually halfway, to breaking the Bears rookie passing yards record. That is preposterous. He could actually break this thing before, like, Thanksgiving. There's a very good shot if he even consistent, even semi-consistent to the way he played in the last 2 games. Crushes that thing by Thanksgiving. It's insane. It's insane. The Bears have a winning record after week 5, and they're looking pretty good, and they get another pretty easy opponent. That is if they get the Jacksonville that had played the first 4 weeks of the year, because Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good. Didn't turn the ball over. That was the big reason that Jacksonville was able to hold on there as well. But yeah, no turnovers for Caleb Williams in his last 2 games. He's looked really clean. And, I thought there was a lot to take away. Very impressive performance. And, yeah. We're going to move on to the other big rookie quarterback in the morning window, which was Jayden Daniels. He crushed it. Again, crushed him. This thing wasn't even close. Now, granted, Cleveland is not a very good football team. Haven't been all year. Yeah. No, Washington looked really competent. I don't know the last time that Commanders fans could really have said, I'm going into a home game and feeling confident that we are not only going to win, but crush this team. So, it's impressive what they did. Jayden Daniels, a couple nice throws. Did have the 1 pick in the red zone, which stinks. But, again, he's going to learn from that type of mistake. And it's good he's making that mistake against a terrible football team. Because, frankly, let's be honest, that Washington defense isn't that great. But they looked like world beaters against Cleveland. Cleveland's offense couldn't do anything. Deshaun Watson is absolutely cooked. He cannot do anything. They have to bench him. But Jimmy Haslam needs to justify giving this guy $230 million. So he's going to continue to start him and trot his ass out there. Cleveland is on the road against Philadelphia. He's coming off a bye. Then they go home against Cincinnati. I mean, and it's Baltimore. Like, I don't know what's going on. Their next 3 games, there's a really good chance this team's 1-7 before week 9. Cleveland looks terrible. I mean, it was a nice run, but they got rid of Baker Mayfield. I still don't understand. I didn't understand it then. I don't understand it now. I understand that maybe he wasn't performing in the way you would have wanted him to, but he had been the most successful quarterback in your franchise's history since coming back to the league. Only guy to lead you to a playoff win, and like to any sort of playoff success. He was 5 points away from beating the Chiefs in 2020. I mean, like, there's a lot of positives from Baker's time in Cleveland, yeah, and maybe he didn't have it end as good as he wanted it to. But look what he's doing in Tampa. He looks really good. Cleveland is kicking themselves because now they're going back to pre-Baker Cleveland, which AKA equals 0-16, 1-15, those 2 years right before they got Baker Mayfield. I don't know, man. Cleveland looks terrible. And Washington just did what they just had. I mean, honestly, Washington had to show up and they would have gotten the win. That's it. Washington is going to get their first real challenge since Jay Daniels' renaissance here. Because as with Caleb Williams performing well these last couple weeks, Jay Daniels performing well these last handful of weeks has also been against some weaker secondaries. I want to see how he performs against a really good football team and a team that is playing really good football right now in the Baltimore Ravens. And then Washington gets Carolina at home afterwards, and then it's the number 1 versus number 2 Chicago-Washington Daniels-Williams game. But yeah, Washington's first real test is against Baltimore next week. Speaking of Baltimore, they're a really good football team, and people were starting to panic after they lost to Las Vegas at home in week 2. But these last 2 weeks of football, they've looked really good. They fought back against the Bengals. The Bengals played a really good game. Well, their offense did. Because guess what? Again, Joe Burrow balled out. Again, the team scored 30-plus points for the third straight week. Third straight week, the offense puts up 30-plus points, and they're 1-2. That is a perfect example of how bad this defense is right now. They cannot stop anything. Let up 24 points to the Panthers last week. I mean, I don't know. Cincinnati's defense, specifically, is garbage, and it's the sole reason why the team is 1-4 right now. Because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins absolutely cooked that Ravens defense. They destroyed them. 38 points. 38! And it wasn't enough to win. Because Lamar Jackson is a dog. I mean, did you see that? Fumbled the snap. Not only fumbles the snap, picks it up. Not only that, but he just get off me. Stiff arm to Sam Hubbard. Just lays him out. And then fires a dart across his body, which is a cardinal sin in quarterbacking, and finds Isaiah Likely in the end zone. I mean, just a magician at times. That was just unbelievable. And they fight back, even though the Bengals did their damnedest. They tried so hard to put this game away. They went up several times by more than one score. The Ravens would answer, and the Bengals offense would go down and do their job. But they just couldn't hold on. Tucker nails his first 50-plus yard of the year. He becomes Justin Tucker again in the clutch. And then he hits the game-winning field goal after Evan McPherson shanks it in overtime. After the Bengals produce a takeaway, by the way, their defense finally does something. Produce a takeaway. McPherson mixes the kick. Derrick Henry, one play. Inside the 10. Kick the field goal. Game over. And the Ravens have won 3 straight. They're looking like a real good football team. They're looking like the team that we thought they were going to be at the beginning of the season. And yeah, they're rolling. And the Bengals, they are just reeling at 1-4. And now this game against the Giants on the road in MetLife Stadium looks like a must-win. It looks like a must-win. They can't lose that game. If they lose to the Giants, that's it's the end of the world. It's Armageddon in Cincinnati. They cannot lose that game. With the talent they have on that offense, there is no way they lose that game. There can't be, right? Can't be. But this team also lost to the Patriots at home. So, who knows? Though the offense has looked much better over the last couple weeks. Moving on to the afternoon slate. We'll stay in the AFC to start. Vegas, Denver. First comment. Those Denver uniforms are fire. Those look phenomenal. And they just cooked in that game. It's the first time the Denver Broncos beat the Las Vegas Raiders. The last time the Broncos beat the Raiders, they were still in Oakland. It was the first time the Denver Broncos beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and they did it in a dominant way. Pat Surtain with 2 picks, including a 100-yard pick 6, which was really nice. Riley Moss becoming the first white quarterback to get an interception in over 2 decades, which is kind of wild. The Broncos defense was absolutely feasting on Gardner Minshew and Aiden O'Connell in this game. They couldn't do anything. And Bo Nix looked really good. He looked competent. Should have had a nice, long, deep bomb touchdown, but his former teammate at Oregon, Troy Franklin, could not hold on to it. And, man, I'm telling you, that, like, they're part of us, you know, we're thinking, yeah, that game win against Tampa was a bit of a fluke. Tampa underestimated Denver, right? Then the Jets offense just played terrible, and they just couldn't take advantage of the mistakes that the Denver offense would make it. No. This was a complete, total team win for the Denver Broncos. They looked really good in this game. They crushed it. And well, now they're 3-2, and the Broncos stay at home for another divisional game. They get the Chargers at home, coming off a bye week. I'm interested in that one. I really am. I'm interested to see how the Chargers play, what they can do, what they bring to the table. Because Chargers looked pretty good those first 4 weeks. They probably should have been 3-1, you could argue, but like 2-2 isn't terrible. Yeah, Chargers got 2 road games out of the bye week, Denver, and then they're on the road against Arizona, so who knows? Let's pivot to the NFC side of things, because guess what? All 4 NFC West teams were on duty in the afternoon block. Let's see, what's a good one? Which one should we start with? We'll start here. Giants, Seahawks. This game was weird. The Giants start the game getting down to the 1-yard line, fumbling at the goal line, where it's picked up by Rayshon Jenkins in the end zone and just returned like super casually for a touchdown. And then you got like a bunch of weird stuff as well. Daniel Jones making some nice passes to Wan'Dale Robinson, or no, Sterling Shep, no. Darius Slayton. There's the other one. Darius Slayton. I don't know, man. Giants actually look competent in this game. Like, Daniel Jones had a good game. I'm not going to lie. He looked good, just from the highlights at least. They were up 10 points with just a little over 2 minutes to go. I mean, like, it's unbelievable. And then the Giants, they fold. Touchdown. Offense can't do anything. Seattle uses all their time. They don't have to use all their timeouts because the Giants threw passes. They were throwing. And then Seattle goes down to kick the game winner. And it's blocked. Like, perfect block. Turn for a touchdown, and there you go, ball game. Like, the ending of this game was really ridiculous. But this is a tough loss for Seattle. They're 3-1. Just lost to Detroit on the road. That's a, tough loss, but it's against a team that you're favored to lose against. You're an underdog in that game. That's what I'm more trying to say. So you're an underdog in that game. But you should beat the Giants at home, man. It's a tough loss for Seattle. That one is going to stink, especially with the short week coming up. A team that does not have a short week, but is actually going on the bye next week in their division, is another team that lost at home, the LA Rams. Yeah, Jordan Love did what he needed to do. He did what he needed to do. You didn't have to be, this world breaker. He had a couple deep passes. I will say one thing I've noticed. Some of these long plays that the Packers are having are results of really good scheming. Because, like, the Tucker Kraft touchdown, made sure that he's the one who's getting the ball and there's no one on that side of the field. Like, I don't know what happened. Again, I'm not watching the All-22, so I don't know what happened specifically on that play, but it seemed like there was some good play design to make sure that you're getting the defense away from that side of the field. The deep pass to Jaden Reed, I felt like sat up there for ages, but somehow he's able to track it down. Yeah, he did his job. He did what he needed to do. Picks up his first win of the year, which is the weird thing. We're in week 5, and Jordan Love picks up his first win of the season, and the Packers are over 500. Malik Willis was 2-0, by the way. And yeah, this is another, like, the Rams are just losing tough game after tough game right now. Could have won this game here. Could have won last week in Chicago. Did win in a comeback fashion against the Niners 2 weeks ago. Were just absolutely destroyed against the Cardinals. They really should have. I mean, they've lost they've lost 3 one-score games. I mean, it's tough, and all of those one-score games have been against the NFC North. It's just not the schedule they're looking for, and I mean, this bye week could not come any better for them. They're going to go on the bye week. They're going to come back against Las Vegas. And then they're on the road right again to Minnesota. Or not on the road. They're at home again against Minnesota. That's just it's tough sledding for Minnesota or for Los Angeles right now. And frankly, who knows if they can get back on track, because this is tough. But again, season's not over, but it's looking really bad for the Rams right now. Speaking of the team that beat them and the team that's playing on Thursday, the Niners. What has happened? Also, by the way, just going through this, I realized 3 NFC West teams were at home this week. All 3 of them lost. The only team that won in that division was on the road, and that was the Arizona Cardinals. This is the second time in 3 weeks the San Francisco 49ers have had a 10-plus point lead in the fourth quarter and lost. I don't know, man. I don't know. What the hell was that? San Francisco is now they just can't get it done now. I don't know what's going on. The Cardinals were feisty, making big play after big play, forcing a fumble in the red zone, converting 4th downs. Oh my gosh. I know that San Francisco losing their kicker in the second half was not ideal because it forced them to go for a long 4th and 23 that really they shouldn't have gone for, but you know, they were coming away with 0 points anyways. It wasn't going to happen. So I don't know, man. The Cardinals are looking feisty. They've got 2 surprising wins against 2 divisional opponents, and the team that just beat the Rams are going to be playing the Cardinals at home next week. It's going to be Cardinals-Packers at Lambeau Field. That's looking like a pretty good game. But the Niners are 2-3. The Niners are 2-3. The Seahawks are the best team in the division. They're the only team in that division who has a plus 45 record, has a winning record. The Niners are 2-3. The Rams are 1-4. The NFC West is severely underperforming this year. The 2 teams who I thought were going to be controlling this division are playing very bad, and the 2 teams who I thought weren't going to be in the mix this year are well in the mix and looking like the better 2 teams in the division right now. It's pretty insane. It's pretty crazy stuff. But I mean, Kyler Murray played really nice. Of course, the big touchdown run. I mean, oh man. I just, the Cardinals. Look at this. I mean, I knew they had like some talent, but I didn't know if it was going to lead them to really any wins here. And now all of a sudden there's a chance, because again, they were on the road in this game, in a game that they were severely favored to lose in, and they're going to do the same thing next week against Green Bay. It's tough. It's an interesting division here. Anyways, we've got 2 games left to go through. We'll get through them here. Dallas, Pittsburgh. I'm going to be honest. I didn't even watch the first half of this game. I was watching the NLDS. I was watching postseason baseball. And I was watching the Padres-Dodgers game wrap up. The San Diego Padres scored more runs in their game against the Dodgers on Sunday than there were points scored in the first half of the Dallas-Pittsburgh Sunday night game. Padres scored 10 runs. There were 9 points. It's unreal. It's kind of a definition, but I will give this game a lot of props. Guess why? And guess what? You know why I'm going to say this is a good game? That second half delivered. I'm going to be honest. That second half delivered. It was a good second half. It was pretty entertaining. Even though there's some inefficiency on the offensive side of things. Like, for some reason, teams walk out of the locker room. Boom. Fields throws for like 34 yards in the first half. Boom. Scores a touchdown on the first drive of the first half, I'm correct. Boom. Dallas is finally able to get something going offensively. And look at that. They throw a touchdown pass. Like, oh my gosh. There's a lot here, honestly, to be, like, it was weird. The game was close. And guess what? This is why this was a good game. Lead changes. Didn't feel like either team was safe. Blocked field goal as well in this game. Like, it felt like neither team really had control of the game. It was this push and pull, tug of war type thing. And it felt like every point mattered in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter. Because while the third quarter had the one touchdown pass, and I think the blocked field goal was there, the fourth quarter was the best of the four. And frankly, that's what you're asking for in a game, especially a primetime game. Really good stuff. Fields throws a late touchdown pass to give the Steelers the lead. And then Dak leads a drive that's just methodical and just eats all the clock going down the field. Converting crucial play after crucial play down 4 points, needing a touchdown. They get to the goal line. They gotta score. First down. Don't get it. Dak nearly cost them the game with the dreaded touchback rule, fumbling the ball into the end zone, but he keeps it, pulls the ball back, keeps it at the 1. Second down. Pop right out. Dak falls on it. Third down. Incomplete. Guy pulls his groin, from what it sounds like. Like, injures his groin. Take a timeout. He goes right back out there and catches the game-winning touchdown on 4th and goal. Cinema. A phenomenal finish. Down to the last play. Under 30 seconds to go. Jalen Tolbert. Clutch. That was a great ending. And, yeah, that's going to be one that we're going to be looking back on when we come back to season's end. We're going to look at that ending as a pretty good one. Good football game. Not great because that first half and arguably first 3 quarters were not good. Was not good. But the ending of that game was great. But let's wrap things up with Monday night. New Orleans and Kansas City. I don't know what it is, man. Teams end up playing the Chiefs and they try something. I don't know what it is. Something happens when a team plays the Kansas City Chiefs. They abandon everything that's worked well and try to do something because they're playing Kansas City and it doesn't work out. Kansas City also finally wins a game by multiple possessions. First time they've done that this year, and first time they've done that since the wild card round against Miami last year. Yeah, again, they'd won 7 straight one-score games. 3 in the postseason last year, 4 to start this year. They finally win a game by multiple possessions. Saints offense struggled, man. They struggled. They had a nice touchdown pass early, but they struggled. It wasn't their game. But, like, Mahomes threw a pick, and granted, wasn't necessarily his fault in the end zone, but a pick's a pick. And big man. Dude, and I love that because guess what? The big man picks it off. And Kalen Saunders doesn't even think about taking a knee. He's like, oh, I got it. Turn it upfield. Turn it upfield. I'm taking this. That was awesome. That was an electrifying run back. That was sweet. But the Saints offense just could not keep, they couldn't keep it close. They scored the touchdown and missed the extra point, but after Xavier Worthy scored, it fell over. New Orleans offense really wasn't doing anything. And, Kansas City cruises a bit to a win, and I don't know. It was one of those games where it didn't feel like the Saints were really, truly, going to take the lead. The score didn't reflect how badly New Orleans got beat in that game. KC totally let them hang around in that game. And I think that's the big thing that is going to be key for Kansas City going forward. They go into the bye, but San Francisco now, instead of looking like both teams are looking fine, San Francisco is blowing games. They're actually losing games. But Kansas City just is keeping teams in but finding ways to win. Who knows? Because they got to clean that up. They got to make sure if they're going to thoroughly beat a team, they got to thoroughly beat a team. So, Kansas City holds on, gets the win. Yeah. There you have it. There's week 5. And, tell you what, pretty good week of football. And again, I don't really have too much to say going forward. If you have any questions about the week or things you want me to touch upon, leave them in the chat. I'll give you 3 games to watch next week. Detroit-Dallas is going to be a good game. I think that's going to be a really good game. Washington-Baltimore is going to be a really good game to watch again. And I like this Arizona-Green Bay game. I like this Cardinals-Packers game. I think that's going to be really good. I think that, again, the Cardinals are going to deliver and come up with a really good performance. I think it's going to be interesting. But, thinking about the league as a whole right now, the top 2 teams in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings and the Washington Commanders. Who would have had that through 3 weeks through this season? Put your hands down. No one thought that wasn't going to happen, and it didn't. And it did. I don't know how, but it did. And, they're looking really good. But Minnesota goes to the bye week. LA goes to the bye week. Miami's going to the bye week, and Kansas City's going to the bye week. I think that this is a really important bye week for all of these teams. Minnesota, really the only one that I feel like could actually, this could affect them negatively. Because Kansas City, it's a good bye week for them. Despite them being 5-0, they've won 4 one-score games and everything. I think that there's some positives, especially because they come back against San Francisco, who desperately need to get right game against Seattle with the short week. They're going to get a long week, too, against Kansas City. So that's going to be a nice game there. I don't know, man. NFC North looks good. That division is the best division in football right now. Every team's over 500. Everyone's talking about the AFC North, but, Cleveland looks like maybe the worst team in the league. And then Cincinnati's just underperforming because their defense can't stop anything. Pittsburgh looks okay. Baltimore's looked like the best team in the division the last 2 weeks by a long shot. They're the only team who's won, I don't know. The AFC North is kind of middling around. They're not performing the way that I think a lot of people were thinking they were going to this year. And then the NFC West is just really weird. I don't know. This league is eating itself alive right now. A lot of weird results over the last couple weeks. Doesn't feel like there's 1 or 2 teams that are really consistent right now. It feels like everyone is just kind of a toss-up right now. There's some momentum that's getting built after bad starts. Baltimore, Denver, and Chicago are all on winning streaks right now after losing records through 3 weeks. Denver and Baltimore have won 3 in a row. Washington won 4 in a row. Chicago won 2 in a row. I mean, Minnesota and Kansas City are 5-0. Like, I don't know, man. It's impressive stuff. Just really weird. Atlanta has won 2 in a row. I don't know, man. There's a lot to take away from this week. Is really interesting stuff. Seattle really should have beaten New York, but they couldn't. I'm really interested to see what happens next week. With that being said, I don't think I have very much else. Doesn't look like there's anyone here in the chat right now. So I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Stay tuned, though. Tonight, at 7 Pacific. I'm correct. That's when it is, right? Let me hang on. Let me double check. Yeah, no, it was hard for me to get to go ahead and get into football mode again because I'm just so excited for opening night in the NHL. Hockey is back. That's why I've got my Hawks shirt on. The team is back. They're all we're getting ready to play again, and hang on, look it up on my phone. 7 p.m. Pacific. Okay, that's all I wanted. 7 p.m. Pacific. Hawks, Utah. I'll be streaming a live reaction / play-by-play for that. Come stop by. It's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Hawks hockey is back. Let's see what they've got in store. I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, everyone. Bye.